Wake up, it's the Christmas event, it's the Christmas event. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Dychronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be showing you the weekly reset for December 17, 2019. Obviously, today is the beginning of the Christmas event. I'm actually already wearing the shoulders for the Dawning event just out of random chance, but oof, this is going to be a big one. We got a lot of stuff going on with the Christmas event that's going to be going on for 4 weeks in the tower. As soon as I entered, I got to hear the Christmas music. It is actually faded at this point, but it's definitely lovely to hear every time you enter the tower. You get some lights, got some snow. We got some dawning stuff and cookies and all that whatnot. We're going to show you real quick how that gets started. And, oh, actually, I think it gets started over here. She has actually moved. So my understanding of the Dawning event, which is basically going to be your holiday winter event for Destiny 2, is going to be very similar to last year. We have to bake cookies by combining different resources that you get from, like, randomly doing stuff pretty much everywhere. You kill some Taken, you get some Taken butter, I think it's called. You kill some Cabal, you get some Cabal resources that have to do with cookies. You combine them in different ways, and you get specific cookies. The idea here is that there's very specific recipes that will give you specific cookies. And those cookies you give to specific people. You put cookie part A with cookie part B, and you get Zavala's cookie, and you have to give it to Zavala. He'll give you some random stuff in return. My understanding is that there's even more recipes this year, so there's going to be more stuff to do, more stuff to find out. My assumption is that Reddit is going to have it figured out in a couple of minutes. You then go to your quest item, and then you go to click triangle or Y or inspect, whatever button that is, and then you can go into the thing and actually use the oven. Now, this is actually a bit different than it was last year, but it's going to be pretty much the same ideas. So the basic idea of an oven is you combine one common material, like Ether Cane, with one rare material, like Delicious Explosion, and then you finish it off with some essence. Usually you need 15 essence, and then you combine it to make a cookie. You can make a lot of cookies at one time for a lot of different ways. And like I said, there are specific combinations. You'll be able to find that on Reddit very, very soon. So actually, I just realized that it all went to my postmaster. You do, in fact, get 15 Dawning Essence as soon as you start, and you get to make your very first Galar Doodle. You can make certain recipes. Once you've made certain recipes, you can just repeat the recipe. You don't have to physically put stuff in, but from what it seems like, there is seven new recipes on top of all the ones we've seen in the past. So you saw on screen the full list of all of the recipes that we currently know about, as well as the fact that there are going to be 7 more, probably for new vendors around the world. And then lastly, you can in fact masterwork the oven. As soon as you discover all the recipe, you can change the price that it takes for each one of the items. So instead of taking, for example, 15 Dawning Essence, instead it will take like 10, for example. And of course, when you make your Galar Doodle, then you want to bring it to Zavala, because Galar Doodles are Zavala's thing apparently. When you give it to him, he gives you a random assortment of things. Obviously, the first one's going to give you a bigger gift. As you go along, going to give you things like enhancement cores, a chance at the new Avalanche heavy machine gun, which is a repeat from last year, not new, but lots of cool stuff you can get, just like you've seen in the Festival of the Lost or past Dawning event. After that, then you want to head back over to Eva. She gives you the next part of the quest, which is going to give you the quest for the Sparrow. My assumption is going to be the same as last year. You don't just get the Sparrow with all the upgrades. You have to slowly upgrade it with little pieces along the way. And of course, she will have her pretty standard Dawning bounties that will give you Dawning Essences, double experience. I don't know what that means, but that sounds pretty cool. And you also get things like Cabal Oil, Sharp Flavor. If you want specific things, you can get more things along the way. I'm just going to grab all of these because why wouldn't I? You know, Festival Spirit, Holiday Cheer, might as well just get it all. Just get the whole suite going. Just spam it all out. Yeah, baby. Oh, I'm out. I don't know why it was so satisfying to spam all those, but it was really satisfying. So the first thing you have to do, apparently I've gifted already 50 of them. Apparently it counts the ones from last year. All you have to do is complete certain things and you'll be able to upgrade this particular Sparrow, and eventually it gives you the Sparrow, a dark chocolate moat, and a fractal roll. My assumption that's going to be the Drifter and perhaps Osiris as the vendors. I'm not sure. And just so you know, essence can basically be found pretty much everywhere. Every activity drops essence when you finish it. Enemies, I think, drop essence. Enemies drop specific type of items, like Ether Cane drops from Fallen kind of thing. Taken butter drops from Taken. Should pretty much be very straightforward how you get each one of the items. There's also like snowballs in the tower. If you want to make one of your friends in the tower slow, you can throw a snowball at them. You can have a snowball fight, as well as the fact that there is these glowing lamps. Where'd it go? There we go. You pick up one of these lamps, you get to hold on to this thing, and as soon as you drop it, by clicking a button of some kind, one of the buttons, and then you can release it, and then it floats off into the air. Very, very simple. Very much like all these things that are flying through the air right over there. Yeah. That's it. On top of the Dawning event, there has been a couple other things that have been released. If you can see the calendar on screen right now, we have new obelisks that are on Nessus and the EDZ. We have a new sundial, Osleet, the Sky Piercer, which you can find at Osiris, and finally Save a Legend. It's going to be a very special quest, has to do with the storyline that you can do this week. My assumption is going to be that it's the milestone right here to speak with Osiris, and you're going to go save Saint 14. I keep wanting to call him Helm of Saint 14, but his name is Saint 14, the legendary Titan Guardian from our past. On top of that, this week is also featuring an increased Infamy week, which is very surprising. They oftentimes want to leave that for literally the last week for some reason, but it is increased for Infamy. Should be 2 times for the week and 3 times for the weekend. So if you're looking to get that ritual quest done very, very quickly, it is going to be easier right now. Without further ado, let's go ahead and move on with the regular weekly reset, showing everything that has resets from the Nightfalls to the Crucible playlist to all the vendors that are going to be having the major changes to their inventories. First of all, for the Nightfall ordeal this week, it will be the Scarlet Keep, which is going to be the new mission for Shadowkeep, which has Hash Ladoon at the very end. The regular Nightfalls features firstly Exodus Crash. It's going to be the one on Nessus with the invisible guy at the end, which is a lot easier than it used to be. He does not disappear as much as he used to, and he drops the Impact Velocity Sparrow. Next up, Will of the Thousand is going to be that big worm at the end, dropping the Worm God Incarnation Transmat effect. And lastly, you have Broodhold, which is going to be that witch wizard girl that splits off into 2 people, dark and light version at the very end, and that one does not have a Nightfall unique. The highest scoring this week will be probably Broodhold. If not that, then Will of the Thousands, just by the fact that they are the newer ones and they have a lot of orange and yellow health enemies. The fastest strike, I think, will be Will of the Thousands. I can't be for certain, none of these are really that fast. The heroic modifier for this week will be Arc Singe, meaning that every single thing will line up with Arc Singe this week. For some reason, Arc always lines up. I don't know why, they rotate in opposite directions otherwise. As for the rotating playlist for Crucible, first of all, you have Team Scorch. Everyone has a Scorch cannon, and it's a lot of fun. I highly recommend it. If you do end up playing this, make sure you're air bursting. Hold down the fire button until you want it to explode, then release to detonate it in midair. This completely changes how you play this game mode. And then secondly, you have Breakthrough. Very similar to kind of a tug-of-war kind of gameplay where you capture the middle, then you capture the opposing zone on the opposite side of the field, or you defend your zone. As for the Reckoning playlist this week, it will be Arc Singe, like I mentioned before, the daily right now being heavyweight, so bring a Wordglyph and you'll just decimate the competition, and the boss right now is going to be the Likeness of Oryx. If you want to get your spare rations or anything else that's on screen right now for the Oryx side, it is available this week. And again, Infamy is going to be increased this week, so if you want to do some Gambit Prime, Gambit, Reckoning, it is all bonus Infamy right now. As for the Flashpoint this week, it will be on Nessus, so completing public events, lost sectors, and heroic adventures to get this powerful gear. As for the Nightmare Hunts this week, we have the Fanatic, we have Crota, and we have Fogoth. As for the Garden Salvation raid, the challenge this week will be to the top. Now, I've not actually completed this one, but what it says online, it's during the 3rd encounter, the encounter that you actually kill the big harpy guy. Basically, you have to deposit motes 10 at a time. You can't deposit any more or any fewer than 10 at a time. It has to be 10 every single time. And currently, the strat is to do 5, 10, 10, 5, so it makes it just a little bit harder, but really not that much. As for Escalation Protocol, this week it will be all 3. That's because last week was the Sniper, and next week will be all 3. Following that will be the infamous Shotgun. Infamous Shotgun. Yes, very pretentious, very pompous, very proud, imprudent, I would say. As for the Menagerie this week, the boss will be Aranuk, beloved by Callus, the big ogre dude at the very end. The weekly for the normal mode will be Arc Singe, like I mentioned before, everything is Arc Singe on the same week, I don't know why. The daily right now being Blackout and Grenadier, and then for the heroic version, you're gonna have Extinguish, Grenadier, Famine, and Solar Sint. For some reason, the ogre always has Grenadier, it's the only one with a positive, so it's the easiest week to complete it. But again, that's just for the heroic version. Moving on to Eververse's inventory, just gonna very quickly clear that out. Never ever excited to open one of those anymore because it's all just old stuff I don't care about, but showing off everything that she does have available. Obviously, we have a Dawning section available, we can see over here, and a lot of Dawning stuff on offer, which I will be showing off in this video. First and foremost, just wanted to go across some of the Bright Desk purchases. Firstly, this consumable is a new one. We did see it last week where bosses have a chance to drop an upgrade module, very similar to the other consumables. Just pop it, and then the next time it happens, it will happen. We have a lot of other things that are Dawning related on sale. First of all, we have the Resilient Laurel, which looks like this on the Titan. Again, Titans always color very odd. They always color with 2 colors, and they don't use the full spectrum. Other classes will use more of it. There's obviously this transmit effect, which you come in like a blizzard, which was here last year, which is why I have it. You have the ghost shell that looks like a snowball, which again I have, which is a guiding light one, which is very, very nice. It looks like a little smiley face with a unibrow. I always love that part about it. And then finally you have the comfort dance, which is you know what it is. For the other Bright Dust section, I'll come back to the seasonal event thing real quick. We have things like the baking cookies, which I do not have, which was one of those exclusive silver only things from last year, which you now can buy for Bright Dust, which is very nice to see. That we're having the ability to do that 1 year later with your baking cookies. Pretty straightforward, pretty much exactly what you'd expect. Next up, we have the History of Starlight ship, which is a very similar design to the Universal Wave function, but it doesn't have glowing bits on it, which obviously makes it a little inferior, but it is available if you want it. You have a Ghost Shell for Public Defender Omni-Telemetry, you have a regular Ghost Shell, you have some Sparrows, you have an exotic Sparrow, which I do believe actually juts out some snow at the back when you're activating it. Oh no, okay, so yeah, I mean, it makes little effects. I forgot you can actually preview the effect, which is really, really cool. Very similar to the way the Crimson Days Sparrow works. You've also got a new Ghost Projection, which is literally just a ladybug with a... I love my ladybug, man, which is just a snowflake on top. You also have some of the other transmit effect, the gift one, which is my favorite from the Dawning event. You have some other ones, some very cool repeats and more shaders. Pretty straightforward. And then finally, moving on to the seasonal event tab, there's going to be a lot of stuff in here. Some of them for silver, some of them for Bright Dust. So if you want to buy the full set for Bright Dust, it is available for a lot of the different pieces. Again, I am on my Titan right now, so I see only Titan. You obviously have to get on your specific class to get those specific things, but from what I've seen, this is probably one of the better looking Titans. I've not really been a fan of the previous years, but this one looks pretty good. You obviously have some of the other things like different ornaments for like the sword, for hard light. You have different emotes. Everything is pretty straightforward. Moving on to this next page is showing off again the things that you have available. The ghost shells, the ornaments, the sparrow, that's a freaking polar bear. You have this sparrow, which also looks pretty cool. All right, hold on, I got something to postulate right here. Doesn't this look like that crystalline thing in Star Trek Next Generation with the Data arc? It looks like the thing that kills all the people. I don't know, am I a complete nerd? Yes, but am I wrong? No. You also have a couple other things like cool looking sparrows, the ornament for the new weapon part of the event, some more emotes, lots of cool stuff. This transmit effect, oh my goodness gracious. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, all of these transmit effects, definitely something that I'm looking forward to. For sure, absolutely. Yeah, okay. Oh yeah.
No word from Fenchurch today.
Fucking, I need to walk away from her, just freaking talking in my ear. No word from Femshits. You, Eververse. And something very important to note is that they said that 80% of the silver purchase Dawning event items as well as the Season of Dawn items will be available for Bright Dust purchase at some point during the event. So you should wait at least to the very end, the last week, to purchase something for silver because it might be available for Bright Dust at some point. And finally, showing off Hawthornes Inventory clan bounties, same as always. We got Gambit, we got Crucible, Raid, and then finally Ordeal with clanmates. Pretty straightforward, legendary gear, experience, nothing more than that. Moving on to the weekly raid challenges. For the Last Wish raid, we have Witch, which will be the Shuro-Chi challenge, probably the hardest challenge in the game, just by how inconsistent it is. Basically, do not get hit by her regular ball attacks. You can get launched, you can get pushed, just don't get hit by her regular ball attack, which has a pretty sizable AoE, so you really do have to just dodge like crazy. As for the Scourge of the Past raid, All for One, One for All takes place in the first phase of the boss area. That's going to be the section where there's actually an underground section, and in that section, every single person has to acquire and dunk each one of the 3 colors at least once during the fight. And then finally, the Crown of Sorrows challenge, Total Victory, which takes place in the first phase of the boss area. To complete this, you have to break the Deception Shield 5 times every single time you do one of his phases. And that's going to be pretty much it for this weekly reset. Make sure you stay tuned till the weekend. I'll be releasing my Dawning guide where I go through all the different things that I do know about the Dawning event, how you get each item, the best combination, the combination of all the cookies, the best way to grind the stuff, how to get all the triumphs. Very similar to how I did my Festival of the Lost guide. You can see in previews on screen now. I go all out with these guides. I go color coding, I list them out with pictures. I do a pretty good job with this, so stay tuned to the weekend. We're going to be releasing that. But that's going to be pretty much it. That's the end of the video. My name is Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one.